Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with another knife overview. Today we are going to be looking at the Zero Tolerance 0561. This is going to be a Hinder designed zero tolerance from, I believe this one's actually from 2011 or 2012. So, over 10 years old. Certainly, I'm a huge fan of this knife, as we'll see. I'm going to do some comparisons. I'll give you my impressions and then kind of my final thoughts on it. But appreciate y'all tuning in. First, we'll go over a few size comparisons here. So the Zero Tolerance 0561 as compared to an Emerson Mini Roadhouse looks like that. And then I brought out with me a Strider SMF. Looks like that. Very comparable in size to the Strider SMF. Keep in mind the Strider SMF, that's kind of tantamount to an XM24, which I don't have. But yeah, there it is compared to a Strider. And then finally, pull out one that everyone seems to know the size of. This is going to be a Chris Reeve Large Sebenza 31. So as far as the details on this specific blade goes, it features a 3.75 inch blade. The Hinder XM18 is a 3.5 inch blade, and then an XM24 is going to be a 4-inch blade. So this actually does a really good job of bridging the gap between the XM18 and the XM24. It's 8 3/4 inches overall. Closed, you are looking at 5 inches. The blade shape is going to be a drop point. The steel is Elmax. This pivot actually features a KVT, or a Kershaw Velocity Technology, which is bearings. So way back in the day, this knife was actually running on bearings, which is pretty cool. The version that I have features G10 handles. It does have a 3D milled titanium scale on the back, as well as titanium liners. So it's not like a Strider where you're going to have G10 then titanium. This is going to be, a fully clothed titanium knife. Just on the show side, it has G10 over the top. It weighs 5.98 ounces, so a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be made in the US of A, and back when this came out, like I said, around 2012, the MSRP was $325. So with that, we will get into my impressions. All right, so I've owned enough XM18s at this point, and I can say with clear eyes, I prefer the 0561 to an XM18. Or the other code is the 0560, which is the black G10 scaled version. I've also owned the 0562, which, although is a nice blade, it really just didn't have the character or hand feel like the 0561. Like the build quality on the 0562, when compared to an XM18, just felt a little bit cheaper to me. Not to say it was lesser materials or anything like that, but this one, the build quality is completely on par with an XM18, and an XM18 will cost you $450, $500. The next observation that I had was, obviously you read Hinder designed on the clip side, but I mean, this really does have like Rick Hinder stench all over it. Certainly the feeling, the grip, right down to the flipper tab. That's definitely a very Hinder flipper tab. The LBS on there, the blade shape. I don't know. Even in 2023, this blade I think is still relevant as a whole. Like we said before, it is running on bearings. It also features, which I like way better than the XM18. This came OEM, so this was the standard pocket clip. So a titanium pocket clip, but it's a very deep carry pocket clip, and it is extremely appropriate for the weight of this. So I think that's pretty cool. Lastly, I thought this was really cool, and I'll take a few pictures of it, but I didn't notice it when, I first got this knife, but there actually is internal milling to both sides, so the show side and the clip side of that internal titanium scale. I'm sure that this was kind of the infancy of doing weight relief on the inside of a titanium scale, but they did a really nice job, and it lightens this up enough where it feels very, very well balanced, which, for a knife that's over 10 years old, that's pretty impressive. The next observation that I had was just the jimping. Again, we have jimping up here, and then we also have some back here, then obviously on the lock bar. I'd say it's nice, very deep jimping that I think it would do you more favors if you had gloves on, but I still really do like the locations and the amounts. Again, like a lot of times we'll see just jimping on the spine or just jimping up here on the handle, but this does both and makes them, work together in concert when the knife is open. Like it all lines up, and it's that level of attention to detail that sets this knife apart. All right, my next observation, and this is not unique to the 0561, but I've never really been a fan of Hinder flipper tabs. They're pretty obtrusive, they stick out, they're kind of the wrong angle as far as like a light switch goes, but I get it, it's a necessary evil because when this thing is open, it provides an awesome and necessary blade guard that you can be really confident in. Like I will say with this knife, and similarly to other Hinders, I know where I'm at all times. And obviously I'm using the term Hinder. This is a zero tolerance, but like I said, this has Rick Hinder all over it. The next observation that I had was just how nice this titanium milled clip side is. It honestly, like you'd expect to see this level of detail or titanium being milled on a knife costing, I would say 3 to 4 times as much. And the really cool thing about it is the pattern on the titanium matches the pattern on the G10 too. Like the dots per inch or whatever, it's the same on both sides. I don't know. I mean, like, there's absolutely no way that Zero Tolerance had to do this, but they did it, and it looks absolutely fire. Like, if you didn't have a name brand on this, you didn't know about Zero Tolerance, whatever, when you see a knife with 3D milled titanium on the clip side, that's just unheard of, even for an XM18, or it would have to be a really special one. That came standard on, I'll say it again, a $325 made in the US blade. That's pretty cool. All right, the next observation that I had was just the carry option. So this can be left or right hand, tip up or tip down carry. And, dissimilar to the XM18s, which they'll kind of have like a plug over the holes that you're not using. These are just going to be open threads. It's never honestly bothered me, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm sure it cuts down on weight, but that's definitely a difference from the XM18 counterpart. All right, and that concludes my overview of the Zero Tolerance 0561. Overall, I think for the money, and again, $325 MSRP, but I thought it was, kind of, I was like, man, I wish I would have gotten in on this. Before it was discontinued, Blade HQ had these on sale for $260 brand new in box, and that's pretty cool. I don't think you can really beat it. You have a US made knife, Hinder pedigree, premium materials, decent steel. Certainly Elmax back in the day was a premium steel. Amazing fit finish. I really do think, and I haven't said this in a while, this could be your only knife. From what I've seen, people recognize how good this blade is, because even on eBay as early or as recent as a couple weeks ago, these knives are selling on eBay used for MSRP plus. For me, it really bridges the gap between the XM18 and 24. Again, this one being 3 3/4 inches, where you get the XM18 at 3.5, the 24 at 4 inches. But it really bridges the gap in all the best ways. I think this is like the perfect size knife for everyday carry. I really just can't foot stomp enough. Like, keep an eye out for a 0560, which is the black show side, or the 0561, which is this one, and scoop it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So that concludes my overview. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We will see you next time.